Welcome to History According to Bob. I'm Professor Bob, and today I'm going to take you on a tour of the Trojan Treasure, how it was found, what they found, and how they moved it around. It's basically a travel guide of where the treasure went and who held it for various times. And I thought you'd enjoy also a picture of Heinrich Schliemann's wedding. I found this while I was doing some research on the topic. One day he found a relief of Apollo riding the four horses of the sun. Although it was relatively small, it was a brilliant piece of work. Schliemann smuggled it out of Turkey with Calvert's help. Then, in May of 1873, he had his moment. He was standing by a trench with his wife Sophie, near what is now Troy II's main entry ramp. He saw something glinting in the sun. He went over and saw some metal objects. He was sure he found the Trojan treasure. Well, Schliemann turned to Sophie. "You must go at once and shout Paidos." That's a Greek word as well as a Turkish word meaning rest period. Sophie had not yet seen the treasure and was amazed at the thought of ordering a rest period so early. She goes, "What, now? It's 7 o'clock. That's a.m. "Yes, now. Tell them it's my birthday, and I have only just remembered it. Tell them they will get their wages today without working. And see that they go to their villages and see that the overseer doesn't come here." Well, the workers were very happy. The Turkish representative, Amin Effendi, was a little puzzled because he had the chart of all of the various important holidays, and that didn't seem to be on it. But he also obeyed the paidos because working without getting paid without working is, of course, every workman's dream. After everyone had gone, Schliemann and Sophia dug out the treasure and put it into one of Sophia's. Well, what did they find? Now, they found a copper shield. They found the copper cauldron, a silver vase, a copper vase, a gold bottle, 2 gold cups, a small electrum cup, a silver goblet, 3 great silver vases, 7 double-edged copper daggers, 6 silver knife blades, 13 copper lance heads, 2 gold diadems, and 56 gold earrings, and then 8,750 gold rings and buttons and hair curls. The 2 diadems had 90 chains. So many, when you put it over your head, it covered the forehead. And this is the famous picture that you see frequently of Sophie wearing this. Schliemann dressed her up in what they could and went to parties, or at least the parties at his house in Athens. The next night, 6 baskets and 1 bag containing the treasure and other objects previously found were taken to Calvert's farmhouse near Pernarbasi. In a few days, the treasure and other things were smuggled out of the country. Schliemann himself stayed a few more days because he wanted to probe that trench and make sure that everything was out of there. And when he was sure there was no more treasure, he abruptly ended the excavation and returned to Athens. Back in Istanbul, the Turkish government privately asked Schliemann for him to send their fair share of the treasure and other objects back to the Imperial Museum in Istanbul, according to the agreement that they had signed with Schliemann to give so he could have permission to excavate. Schliemann refused, so the Ottoman government sued him for half of the Trojan treasure, which is technically what he promised to give him, half of everything. The trial was held in Greece, actually held in Athens, and it lasted for a year. And in the end, the Greek judges found in favor of the Turks and ordered Schliemann to pay 50,000 francs, was what they thought the value of the treasure was. Although disappointed, Schliemann was elated by the judge's financial ruling because he believed the treasure was worth more around 1 million francs. Schliemann kept the treasure in his home in Athens until 1881, when it was acquired by the Royal Museums of Berlin and displayed until the Allies began bombing Berlin in World War II. Since the museum that Priams gold was in was near Gestapo headquarters, it certainly had to be moved quickly. Adolf Hitler had ordered all museums in Berlin to box and record all the artifacts and art and then move them to safer locations. Most people believe that the Trojan treasure was moved to the various salt mines in Germany where the Allies found all sorts of things. But the boxes, which were numbered and marked, were not found in the salt mines. We now know It never left Berlin. They were moved to a flak tower in the Berlin Zoo. Now, the description of this is a little different. We go tower. This is a massive square fortification. It's a super fortress, and it was a bomb shelter for the people of Berlin, and they stored all kinds of things in it. And even after heavy bombing, it was pretty much intact except for the guns on the top when the war ended. The treasure, after 1945, just disappears, and it disappears until 1993, when the Pushkin Museum in Moscow suddenly discovers some crates with German markings and numbers. Most people thought that the Soviets had indeed looted it in 1945, but what happened was a German professor, Wilhelm Unversacht, actually surrendered the treasure to the Soviet military commander to save it from being plundered. The general promised to protect it, and it was sent to the Pushkin Museum. After talking about the Trojan Treasure for so long, it's time that we get a chance to look at it. Now, my wife and I have not been to Moscow to see it, so I've used pictures from the guidebook and from some friends who have traveled to visit the Pushkin Museum in Moscow and taken some pictures. Here you see the famous diadem across the forehead of Sophie and some of the earrings. And then here we have a close-up of it, and then here is a model. I like the way they have the model wearing one of the other ones. There's several of them in the group. Then this next object is somewhat unique, and it's kind of puzzled everyone. It is referred to as a sauce boat. It is 18.5 centimeters long and 18 centimeters wide, and it is 23 karat gold, 24 being the purest. Here we have one of the bracelets. You see the beautiful designs on it. And then here is one of the massive necklaces with hundreds and hundreds of pieces. Here is one of many hairpins, and the curls are where you put your hair through them. So a woman would have had all sorts of these in her hair. Here's a closer shot of some of those hair curls, and there are various different types, but there are several hundred of them that were found. Here's another set of earrings and one of the goblets, and then here we have a necklace with pendants. And in this final picture, you see some of the axe heads, which were made of nephrite, and the picture next to it is the masses of gold pieces and shreds and parts that were dug up. When I made the list and it said there were 8,900 or whatever odds and ends, well, that's what the odds and end pile looks like. Here are the sources. This first one is The Gold of Troy by Tolstakov and Treshnia. This is the official guidebook of the Pushkin Museum for the Trojan Treasure, and literally has a picture of everything in the collection. Then we have our book Troy by Askin, and the Guide to Troya and Walusa by Korfman, and In Search of the Trojan War, Michael Wood. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, give a comment, and if you like history, please come by historyaccordingtobob.com website, where I do 6 podcasts a week on different topics in history, and there's all sorts of CDs and other things that you can see. So thank you very much.